Welcome, Amalga-Maniacs and all of our associated online family, to your very next episode of Anime a la Carte. Anime a la Carte is a podcast vlog where we kind of talk about our favorite animes, and we also talk about some of our favorite snacks. And of course, everybody knows watching anime and snacking kind of goes hand in hand. We like to marry the two things and bring you our rendition of what we've watched and what we've sampled, what we've tasted. Our panel tonight, we have a full house finally. For the first show, I think this is our full house. All of the ladies are in the house tonight with me. We have Danielle Robeson from Anime Universe. Also Sierra Parks from Anime Universe. And from Amalga-Mania, we have Shelby Croto. And we also have the Madam President, Taryn Barber. I am the boy wonderful Ian Wallace, and this is Anime a la Carte. Ladies, how are we doing? It's been a couple of weeks since our last Anime a la Carte. We did Naruto. This show, we're going to be doing Attack on Titan. I know we've been anticipating this one a little bit. So how was our hiatus? How did we do over our little bit of a break, ladies? Everybody's good, refreshed?
Oh, yes.
Okay, good. I like that. I, of course, have some questions. We're going to start off with a couple of questions I have. This show is all about Attack on Titan. A beloved anime, I think, pretty much on both coasts, over in Japan, over here in the States. Everybody pretty much loves it. I hear it gets a lot of play in the UK as well, all over the world pretty much. But we centered this show specifically on all three seasons. We're going to be dipping into seasons 1 through 3, and we might even give you a little tidbits about the first episode of season 4, seeing as how our own veteran of the anime knows a little something about it. Maybe she might spill a little something, get y'all, taste a little appetite wet for that. We do have some questions for the ladies. Of course, I have many questions. This is an anime that invoked lots of questions, I think, from start to finish. So we'll start off with my questions. Okay. Unlike Naruto, I feel like this anime's characters are a little more, I would say, fleeting. I would say you don't get used to them as much as you do the Naruto characters, because in Attack on Titan, here today, gone tomorrow is not a saying. It is literally the way of life. In this section,
no one is safe.
Yeah, and don't get attached. I think that would be rule number 1 in Attack on Titan. Don't get attached going in, because not everybody's gonna make it. Show to show, just trust that somebody's gonna get eaten. It's the way I got through it therapeutically. But as far as the characters go, and I'm sure everyone here has one. Honestly, I'm gonna be a little biased and pull a James Milliken on this and ask, who is your favorite character in Attack on Titan, and why is it Mikasa? No, right. Shout out to James Milliken for that one. No, but in all seriousness, who is your favorite character in Attack on Titan? Who did you feel the most pull towards? We will start with Miss Sierra. We will go to Shelby. We will go to Taryn, and then end up with Danielle, and I will finish it off. Sierra?
Well, like you said, obviously Mikasa, so I'm sure all of us will say that, but I was a Armin fan. I am a Armin fan. Like you said, don't get attached. I got attached, and my mama bear just came, and I wanted to protect Armin, and I needed to love him and hug him and feed him, and that's just what happened. But as we continued through all the 3 seasons, he completely, let's just say across the board, Attack on Titan character development is chef's kiss. Like, it's amazing. So Armin really just
okay, so
that's all I got to say.
So also, obviously, you are very happy with the character development.
Very happy.
Okay, cool. So,
happy.
Is that your final answer? Are we going to go Armin, or are we going to say Mikasa? Obviously, everybody loves Mikasa.
It can't be both.
Nope, you got to pick.
No, you know
my rule. You know my
I do
rule.
this
Everybody
every
else goes in
time. I do
anime
this all the time.
purgatory,
Okay.
and there can only be one left. Who is it going to be? Yeah, I know it's hard. You can still love all the characters.
Probably Armin. I just have to go because, like,
That's
Mikasa.
not a bad answer.
Yeah, but it's
really
like
not.
but I still, because I love Mikasa, but it's like, you knew Mikasa was going to be all right from the jump.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't have no qualms about her. Armin, I was attracted to him because, like I said, that was my bae. I needed to take care of him. And he completely, and I was like, wow. Not to say that Mikasa didn't have great character development as well, but Mikasa and Armin, it was like.
No, but I get it. You kind of understood. You knew which route Mikasa was going, and pretty much how she was going to end up. That was pretty much from the jump. I get what you're saying with Armin. I think everybody who watched him throughout these first 3 seasons kind of got that same.
Right.
You know, let's circle the wagon around him. Let's make sure he's okay. Outside of everybody else, like you said, you just check for him a little bit more because he was, Armin. So I definitely get the difference in the contrast.
So Armin, that's my final answer.
Okay, Shelby.
Oh, Levi. I don't know what it is.
I think you pronounced male Mikasa wrong.
No, you
pronounced it wrong.
I mean, I don't know what it is with me with dark-haired, brooding men that I always end up simping towards in these animes, but like, I was a huge fan of him like in the first 2 seasons, but I recently binged the 3rd one, and I was like, I didn't know I could love him even more. Oh my gosh!
All right, so it's definitely
hands down, it's him.
So it's definitely the captain for you.
Woo! Yes. Okay. Oh, for sure.
All right, Taryn.
Commander Erwin.
Yes.
Why so? And I'm not asking because I disagree, but why Erwin?
I'm just drawn to that character. He's decisive. That episode or that scene where his arm, where he loses his
girl, yes.
he loses his arm,
and they're looking at him like, expecting
some kind of like shock or distress from him, and he looks at them like, "Go."
What are y'all waiting for? I told y'all to keep talking. Yeah, I think that was outside of when Captain America in the Avenger movies had that little spiel where he told the Avengers, he was like, if they hurt you, hurt them back. If you get killed, walk it off. I think outside of that, that was probably I wanted to be in the battle at that point. I was like, where's my ODM?
I was riding my horse, getting my head took off for Erwin, okay?
I was ready.
Right.
I think I searched for my ODM gear in that moment myself. I was ready to go and attack a Titan. So I definitely get it. I thought it was surprising because I didn't expect anyone to pick another character outside of either Mikasa or Levi. And it's so far we've got 2. And I think that's awesome. I think that because there are a lot of dope characters here. So that's awesome. Erwin.
Right.
Okay. Any other defining traits other than his obvious heroism?
I will say he's the reason why I stopped reading the manga.
Okay.
Like, I don't know how much of how many spoilers we're supposed to give, but when he died, I was done.
Ooh, girl.
I just stopped. I was like, nope, can't read no more. I'm done with this stuff.
Yeah, it gets, okay. All right, so it was that deep. Okay, all right.
Yeah, it was deep. It was.
All right, obviously Danielle's going to have 3, so we might as well go ahead and let her give all 3.
I have 1.
Do you not see her with the Mikasa scarf? I mean,
so I was like, first, we're not going to disrespect Mikasa like that. No. But I just want to attest to that's why I love this anime, that we literally can all have most different, and they're all such great answers. They're all such great characters. They all have their moment that is just like, I think that's why I'm spoiled when I watch other things. And not that it's like the best of the best. Like, of course, everybody's not going to stand for it as much as I do. But it's just so many great characters. But my answer is Mikasa.
Okay.
I think I've said it on other episodes of Anime a la carte. I love strong women. I love when they show a woman that's just like, now she's also realistic because she do got a little simp in her too. She be simping after Eren. She love her some Eren.
You know what?
But she's also like, but no, I got to take care of business. Like,
and I actually want to draw a line through that same contrast, and it's one of the reasons why she's actually one of my favorite characters of the anime as well. I love the fact that they made her as vulnerable as they did strong. Like, if you pay attention to Mikasa outside of her being very quiet, her expressive nature, is very vulnerable. Like she allows herself to be seen as somebody, like she makes it very plain, like I love these people, I care about them, I die for them. Like that's not something you have to ask for her.
So one of the very like really touching scenes is in season 1 when Armin tells her Eren is dead, like everybody's dead.
Yes.
And she, you know that she has this attachment to this character. And she's just like, all right, well, I'm better than all y'all. We're going to ride out. Let's go. Goes off on the ODM gear. And everybody else is like, what? But Armin notices that she's like going too fast. She's just trying to get lost. She's grieving, but she's trying to push through. She doesn't know what to do. And she's just losing it. But she's trying to just go for, like, that was just like,
in between that, killing 50-foot monsters. Let's not leave that part out. In between all of that, meanwhile, killing 50-foot monsters.
She's bad, and she's like, it's all, and she wasn't like, Armin, how could you do this? That's still her friend, and she knows he's hurting too, so she tries to be gentle with him in that moment, and just it's good.
I get it.
Good scene.
Okay,
it's Mikasa.
So your final answer is definitely Mikasa. Okay.
And it's funny because kind of like other shonens, I don't like Eren in the beginning. Right. I don't like Eren until I am a manga reader. I don't like Eren really until we get into season 4 and you really see the contrast of Eren. I'm going to keep it spoiler free, of course, for nothing in the manga. But his development is great. He starts to edge up there, but as an anime watcher, I definitely was like, who's her? She's a main character, so maybe we got a little bit of plot armor and she won't die. That's why I was like, it's the only one I can really latch on to. So it's Mikasa, final answer.
All right. For me, it's a toss-up, obviously, between the two, Captain Levi and Mikasa. To me, they're essentially once I heard their names, that was the first question I asked was, are they related? Because of the names, and I was just like, I needed to know, because they do seem like they come from the same stock, and they seem like to have a more Asian overtone to how they're drawn, and it just made me wonder if they were related. But out of the two of them, after seeing all of the seasons, and it's really hard for me to say this because of how much I love Mikasa, but Levi kind of, and the reason why Levi kind of took that main character, like my main character, which one I love the most, was watching him when Kenny showed up, and learning a lot more about his background. Because I would say this, outside of like Deku, and I mean Naruto kind of came in the game and like his parents were gone, and the pain of being alone kind of compounded throughout him training himself to be a ninja. With Deku, it was like nobody believed in him, and he had to struggle through all of that to be. I think Eren Yeager for an opening origin. I mean, because I was not an Attack on Titan fan. I just wasn't. And when I saw the beginning of Attack on Titan, and my son was the one that was like really into it, I was like, what the hell is this boy watching? Why are they naked? Why are they so big? I was like, did the creators have any chill? Like what? Like this is Walking Dead animated. This is crazy. Like, and I couldn't understand the magnifying of how the characters would die and just be gone. Like here today, gone tomorrow, and just how like no one was safe. And I didn't get that at first, but then seeing Levi's origin story and how he was kind of plucked from the situation he was to become who he became. I love, you cannot, with an underdog story like that, it's impossible not to love the man. Go ahead.
Are you referring to the No Regrets? Did you watch that little side story?
Is this when they basically tell how Kenny came to visit and found him? Is that the episode you're talking about?
No. So
okay, I haven't seen the one you're talking about.
So there's actually a couple little like side stories. So they have Lost Girls, which goes over Mikasa and
okay, and this is not within the first 3 seasons. Okay,
they're like side OVAs.
Yes, right, now I need to know. Now, okay, lay it on me. What am I?
Now they do touch on it in season 3 with him and Kenny, but then as you see, there's a point where Kenny leaves him,
right?
And Levi is still underground.
So they tell that story of that time.
they tell the story of how he became from that underground to the Scouts.
Okay.
All right. And Erwin is the one who, and they briefly mention it because they say somewhere in there like, oh yeah, Erwin's the one who ended up getting him here, and it's a crazy story, and it's that story. So you don't see it if you've only watched season 1, 2, and 3. You don't see it, but if you love him off of that, it's
I gotta check that episode. Better. Okay, I need a link.
It's really good.
Definitely send me a link to see what's going on.
It's called Attack on Titan: No Regrets, and I think it's like
to check that.
Through 3 or 4 episodes, or like 1 or 2. It's not long at all.
I think it's like 3, and they're like 25, 27 episodes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely check it.
It's really decent.
For me, that
nice
would be but for me, that would be my final answer. Would by like a chin hair, Captain Levi, only because of that origin story. It's something about that underdog kind of undertone. Really just pushed me over the line towards his side, but. You know, Mikasa, who doesn't love Mikasa? Like, you gotta love her. So I get why everybody else does too. My next question, and obviously this kind of leads into something I had kind of mentioned during my explanation of my character. What was your experience like with Attack on Titan? Because obviously I'll go first on this one because I kind of already mentioned it, but I would like to know in reverse, the same way I asked the questions, but in reverse. So we'll go Danielle, Taryn, Shelby, then Sierra. What was your introduction to this anime, and how did you feel at first watching it? Because for me, like I said, I didn't like it. I remember Taryn, I think, was the biggest advocate outside of my son. We would talk back and forth about it, and then I guess how it got led into was pretty much her telling me about how great this anime was, and the video game was out at the time. I think the video game had just come out. And she was like, yeah, this is a really good video game. The anime is really good. I watched like the first couple of episodes and was like, nah. I just, something about it just really, I didn't like. And then I guess I started to watch a little bit more of it, and it kind of, grew on me after the fact. But like my first experience with it was just, the story was just way too involved. I needed to know what was in the basement in season 1. I'm trying to figure out like where's this house?
What's the fun in that?
Like, where's this? But where's this house and what's in the bed? At least show us what the house looked like. Damn it! I need to know if it exists, if it's still standing, what's going on. But I get why they dragged it out like they did, and the story like explained itself and was a lot better for those reasons. But my first experience was kind of rough shot getting into it. Ladies, please explain your first experience with it and what you thought. We'll go with Danielle to Taryn to Shelby to Sierra.
So I watched anime again. I think I've said this before, when I was younger, and I kind of took a break. I had a child. I got divorced. I moved. I wasn't checking on anime like I used to when I was younger. And it was probably 2015, 2016. I'm on Netflix, and Attack on Titan is on Netflix. And I was like, what? And I think I had just got done. That's why I think it's awesome that you said it, because anytime I recommend this to people, this is the reference I use. I think I just got done binging like 5-6 seasons of Walking Dead. And it suggested, what about this? And I was like, oh, snap, they got anime on here. Let me watch this. And at this point in time, we are still all waiting for season 2. So I watched it and was like, okay, I have all these questions. Let me find out where season 2
You wanted to know what was in the basement too.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, there's no season 2. Oh, and there's a release date for season 2. Oh, it's been pushed back 5 times. Oh, okay. This doesn't look good. So I was just like, oh, that is actually when I started being an admin in Anime Universe. Nice. And shout out to Erica. Erica Rosario is one of the longtime admins in Anime Universe, and I was, of course, being a crazy person about Attack on Titan and talking about it. And she's like, why don't you read the manga? And I was like, the what? And she's like, the manga. Here's a link. Books too? And I was like,
right.
And I literally binge read the whole, like I went through a whole roller coaster of emotions in like a weekend. And she was like, how are you done with that? And I was like, this is great. And that's when I started my manga obsession, that I was like, wait, so you mean that there's nothing that didn't start a season 2 and it's got a comment? I can just read the forget anime. I'm just going to be reading this whole time. So that's how I got into not only Attack on Titan, but then I started to get into like my manga obsession, where I really was like, oh, because I'm impatient. Like you said, I wanted to know episode 1.
Right.
What's in the basics? Why didn't you need to ask your dad for a hint?
You know, I didn't even think about pairing the mangas. I probably could have found out a lot easier if I would have just read the mangas. But I was so like, the anime, the art was so great that I was like, I need to know now.
I think it's great to read the manga, but the anime with it is great because, again, we don't get scenes like when we do have Kenny and they're going through this fight through the city. That's awesome. It was good, but visually it's just so stunning to see it anime. So it's almost kind of like, and the good thing is the anime is following the manga, the source material, like spot on. Very few differences, nothing major, which is always a great thing, because that's a complaint you get from a lot of manga readers or even book readers. Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, those type of things. When they start changing things, you're like, this isn't as good as I read. This is as good, if not better. It's perfect.
All right. Taryn?
My story is almost exactly the same as Danielle's. Almost exactly the same. I saw season 1 before there was a season 2, and I couldn't wait to see what happened. So I started reading the manga. And I read it right up until Commander Irwin died, and then I put it down.
I'm sorry. No, because I was hurt too. Okay.
Yep, and haven't gotten over that since. So, but yeah, it's almost like reiterating exactly what she said. I can't remember what made me start watching it initially, but I do know that it's extremely ironic because I am horribly afraid of dolls and mannequins, and the Titans are like giant doll mannequin things. It's like watching a horror movie for me. Like it's terrifying, and I think that's part of
for everybody. Surprisingly, I think that's the same well-rounded experience for everybody. You don't kind of know that it has that horror undertone until you start. Because I'll admit, when I first saw my son watching it, I remember, Taryn, when you used to tell me about it, I remember the video game came out and you were like, yo, you got to play this game. You got to watch this anime. And my son was watching it at home, and I was just like, what the hell is this boy watching? And just from the first couple of minutes in the first few episodes in the first season, I was like, yo, this anime has absolutely no chill. Like, everybody's dying. And I think that was one of the overtones that I got, was a pretty deep horror undertone to it. So I could definitely see that where you get that from.
Yeah, and like you said, the gore, and then those scenes where one of them leans down and looks through a window.
Oh my
God!
God!
You see a giant face in a wall,
or just the eye. Yeah.
Yeah, and the intrigue, like what happened here? Where did these things come from? Could this really happen? And then with the way that most of them act, they seem like castaways, like some kind of failed experiment. So just the absence of a premise was extremely fascinating.
Okay. That overall Walking Dead kind of aesthetic to it was like you just wake up and there's Titans.
Right, exactly.
People. Shelby?
Yeah, my story's kind of similar to theirs. It was kind of before I had even really gotten to anime. Like, when I was in the army, I was watching, like, one of my friends was watching an anime, and I'm like, what are you watching? That looks really cool. And they told me, and I think it was Black Butler. And so that was the first anime I had watched. And then I started watching some other stuff, and then that had came up for me. And I'm like, oh, let me watch this. And I think at the time only, like, the first 2 seasons were out, but only the first one was dubbed. And then the other one was subbed. And it was before I had even attempted to look at subbed. And I'm like, nope, I'm not going to try and watch that. I'll just wait for it to be dubbed. So I finally had started watching the second season. I can't remember why I had even put it down. So it wasn't until recently that I decided I was going to binge all of it, because the third season was out and everything, and the fourth one was coming out. I'm like, okay, I need to binge everything. And now I'm like, I don't know what to do with my life anymore, because now I have to wait. Because again, the entire seasons were out, so I binged it all super fast. And now they're only releasing 1 episode at a time. And I'm like, I hate waiting. Please stop doing this to me.
Imagine how us manga readers feel.
I
You
can
get one
imagine
chapter
y'all being a little
a
further in
month.
the story. Yeah, that's. Whew.
See, that's the one thing I have not done. I have not read the manga.
Okay.
It's a rabbit hole.
Well, if you can, definitely check it out or begin to, because from what I'm understanding, it definitely goes along with the anime a lot more closely than.
And we're in the end game.
I'm scared once I start, I will not stop.
Yeah.
You won't.
I don't
No,
believe
you won't. No,
You won't.
you won't.
And it's in the end game. And when I say end game, I'm saying 5 chapters left, maybe. Like
The entire anime? I mean, or
It's
the entire
ending.
story?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's dope.
It's wild. And it's
See, I would love to know. See, I'm actually watching the first 3 seasons and just beginning 4. See, now I would love to sit down and hear some of what's going on, just because I got questions. Even
you can't.
after,
So this is the thing, and I'm sorry. Erica, who introduced me to it, she had fallen off of it too, and I was like, "It's starting again. It's getting to the end. You need to read it." And she's like, "Okay." She was like, "Well, I'm just gonna ask you," and I was like, "No." Yeah, it is so much going on. It's like if someone told you to really explain Game of Thrones. There's so many like storylines that if you start telling them, but then you got to go like that meme.
I mean, the history, the omnibus, and the history alone for what we've learned in just seasons 2 and 3 is like a whole nother thing. It's like a whole nother, and you actually get that aesthetic while watching the anime, but it's like a whole nother thing. So I completely get what you're saying. Yeah,
there's no way to even try to explain. Like, I was like, you have to read it. And she's like, you're right. There is no way you could have explained. I would have missed so many things. Like, you just have to read it or watch it. Okay. And as you're watching it, ask
the questions. Okay. Sierra, your first experience with Attack on Titan, and how did you feel getting into it at first?
Very similar to like the other ladies, but I'm going to date myself a little bit here. When Attack on Titan first dropped in 2013, I was in another group before I came over to Anime Universe. It was called the Astonishing School of Gifted Nerds. Somebody in that group had dropped Attack on Titan. It was just like a little, maybe 15, 20-second clip. And it was this giant humanoid, naked, running Titan. And I was like, what in hell is this? And I need to watch it. And I was, like Shelby was saying, 1 episode a week. And I mean, I was 20 at that time. And, my son, he was about to be 1. And, I was like, I need something quick, fast, in a hurry. But I just happened when he would sleep, I would watch it. So I had to wait those 2 years before it picked up steam, because actually it was great in Japan. And then you know how it goes. When the manga starts to go down in popularity, it starts to fall by the wayside. When Netflix went on ahead and picked up Attack on Titan in 2015, that's when it started to pick up the heat again. And that's when they were like, okay, we can give you a date for season 2. We can give you a date for season 3, and that's how it started to go. So at that time, I was not an avid manga reader because it was ongoing. And I wanted to finish the manga when it was finished. I wanted to finish the anime when it was finished, because I hate to wait.
Waiting.
Like everybody else, I hate it. So it was just, I think it just blew me, because I've never seen, like, it's anime. You've seen a whole bunch, like, of everything crazy that you can see. But I can honestly say, out of every close to 400 different anime that I've ever seen, I have never seen a giant humanoid, naked, running Titan and have a storyline that is actually good, because you have like some off the wall, crazy, just monstrous type of things in different anime, but the storyline always falls flat. Okay. Attack on Titan has not missed. And I say, for the anime and for the manga, it has not missed. And I'm with Danielle here. There's like so much I want to say, but because of the manga and the spoilers, like, I want you guys to ask me questions, but don't ask me questions, because I feel like I'm going to get excited. I'm over talking. I'm going to spoil something, and it's going to be it's going to be crazy.
I don't do it first.
Meg, it's crazy. It's just.
All right, we'll tread lightly around the season 4 questions, because there are going to be some. I guarantee you.
It's I just can't. tongue tied here. It's amazing. It's just really, and I'm again like with Daniel, like I'm trying to understand how, like she said, like maybe 5 chapters, if that. How are they going to encompass every single detail from the manga to the end of the, like there is no way that like this season has to be broken up like season 3 was. It was like a part 1 of season 3 and then like a part 2 of season 3. Like it has to like that's the only way that you can go, because I can just see now everybody asking questions about the history, and then like we're talking about like the parallel universes, and then the shared memories with the past, the present, and the future. Hey. See, I just did it. It's
no, because the shared memories were brought up in season 3. That's fair.
Okay. Well,
I mean, the fact that they exist.
She was getting there.
Yeah, she was. She was right at the edge. But no, the shared memories are crazy. So and they happened during season 3, so we could.
It did.
Yeah,
that's fair.
And it just. There's no way that they can't do it like that, or they're just going to miss out on a whole bunch.
Well, no. So there was a tweet that came out in October from one of the sound people that had a script, and it said, it was kind of like a leak on accident. He was trying to be cool and take a picture of it, but on the front of it, it said Attack on Titan Final Season Part 1. Okay. So it has been said that this Part 1 that is airing now is going to have 16 episodes, and it will be Part 1, which makes sense. After watching the first episode, the kind of pacing, it definitely seems like 16 episodes would be good for the first part, and then maybe even wrap it up with another 16 for the second part.
Okay. I could do 30 episodes.
Yeah, and that's still rumor-ish, but it's pretty solid leak. But it's going to be about 16 episodes, and it's going to be at least 2 parts.
Okay, that's what's up. I can live with that.
I still think it should be 3 parts, because
I said at least 2. I'm hoping for 3 because there's a lot going on, guys.
It's a whole lot going on. It's crazy. Like I had to read 5 chapters, and the 6th chapter made me understand the last 5. Like it's crazy. It's.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Well, before we get into the target discussion, we did actually talk a lot about it so far, but I'm sure we're gonna be able to go over all 3 seasons and talk a little bit about some of our favorite parts, the story thus far. But before we do that, we're gonna go ahead and let you guys know a little. Oh wait, our giveaway! I almost forgot our giveaway for the Naruto action figure and the Leaf Village headband from the last anime a la carte. We're going to be giving that to Chris Spencer, who let us know who his favorite anime character from Naruto.
Go, Chris!
Congratulations, Chris Spencer. You're going to be walking away with those prizes. And for this episode, we're going to be giving away, since we talked a little bit about some of our favorite characters, we're going to be giving away a Captain Levi pop, courtesy.
Look at Shelby's face.
I know.
Give please.
And we're also going to be giving away Attack on Titan #1, the manga. We definitely agree with Danielle and think that we should get you guys into the books. So we're going to be giving away #1, the manga. So you'll get one of those and a pop. And we're also going to throw in a T-shirt courtesy of Amalga-Mania. So you guys are going to get 3 awesome prizes for the next anime a la carte. All you have to do is just let us know what your favorite scene. This time, we did character for the last one. This time, I need to know your favorite, because this is a very scene-rich anime. There are some scenes that just deserve their own Oscar. So what is your favorite scene from Attack on Titan? Does it have to be any of the ones we mentioned? Could be your own, tailored to you. Let us know what your favorite scene in Attack on Titan is, and we are going to give you a Attack on Titan pop, manga #1, and also a T-shirt. So participate.
I'm glad we didn't have that question.
Man, because I'm about to say, can we have a scene per character?
I think we all would have had to sit there to go through that one.
I would have said season 1 through 3.
The whole thing, right?
That part.
But before we get into the target discussion, we are all going to take a sec, and we're going to get into the dish and dish portion of our show, where we actually bring our snacks on, talk about some of the things that we've sampled, and we're going to talk a lot more about the anime. So stay tuned. We're going to get right into that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, welcome back. We are getting into my favorite portion of the show, Dish and Dish, where we actually talk about some of the food that we sampled while watching the anime, or food that we came up with because of the anime. And then we snack a little bit and we talk about the meat and potatoes of the first 3 seasons and maybe some spoilers for the first episode of season 4 for Attack on Titan. Now, again, if you have not seen all 3 of the first seasons, you may want to turn this communication off right now and watch it later on after you've gone ahead and binged, because we're going to get into some of the story. We're going to talk about, I have a lot of questions for season 2 and 3. And I'm sure they're going to lead into explanations from things that are to come in the beginning of season 4. So again, spoiler alert: if you have not seen all first 3 seasons of Attack on Titan, stop here, rewind, take it back, and then come back when you've seen it. For those of you that have, buckle
Welcome.
in. Yeah, buckle in. We about to go all the way. Okay, for Dish and Dish this time, I'm going to go with the ladies first. I'm going to let the ladies go. We're going to go from Danielle to Sierra to Taryn to Shelby. And we're going to talk about...
Don't do Shelby like that. Don't do Shelby like that.
As soon as he said that, I was like,
she ended up in the wrong square. But we're going to talk about our dishes first this time before we actually get into... Well, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the conversation about the first 3 seasons, and then we're going to talk about our dishes, and then go in the reverse for the actual talking about the show. Okay. So we'll go from Danielle to Sierra, from Taryn to Shelby to me on just our dishes. So what do you got, Danielle?
I got a bread bowl.
Ooh.
And it's in the bread bowl is baked potato soup. Shout out to our girl Sasha.
Okay.
And a Jaeger bomb.
Shout out to our boy. I know that's right. Sierra?
So I am on my Titan stuff and I'm eating beef. Beef, because Titans eat people. So,
I know that's right.
I made a beef, like beef cubes, and I made my own homemade gravy with it and put it over mashed potatoes and broccoli.
I know that's right.
Yes.
All right, Taryn?
Here it comes.
I wasn't sure about the tinfoil.
I wouldn't be surprised if she pulled out a leg of Titan and was like, "Well, I happened to be roaming through the countryside, and after I killed a few Titans, I figured I would just eat them." So.
I actually did use foil, baked tilapia.
Ooh.
In foil. And gnocchi. I had to look up how to pronounce it because I'm obsessed.
Gnocchi?
With it.
Gnocchi?
I looked it up and it said gnocchi.
Okay.
I know it sounds weird.
Okay.
But yeah, see, simple.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Did you make them? Did you hand make them?
No. Now she handmade them. I was about to say. That was going to be like.
Did you actually go to the coast of Chile and jump in the water and strangle the tilapia yourself? Was a store thing?
Nope.
No. Okay. All right. We got to ask these kind of questions when Tara goes, y'all. It's none of this. We really do need to know.
Aaron likes to show out.
And the snack, barbecue tempura.
Ooh, yum.
Oh, that's what it is. I love that brand. I bought a snack from that same brand. Different snack, but same brand. It's a good brand. Shelby?
Oof. Okay. I'm just going to move my camera. But I also did a loaded potato soup. And then I just did some simple garlic cheese bread. Yum. And then olive oil with some rosemary, pepper, stuff like that to dip the bread in. And then I call it an attack on citrus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's rum, vodka, strawberry lemonade, orange juice, pineapple juice, and then just a little bit of Sprite.
Okay.
I need a cup.
My little small cup.
I guess letting her go after Terry was kind of fortuitous.
Uh-huh.
All right, Shelby. You got
when you go laugh, you show out.
She made the food and did the bartender. Okay, girl, I see.
Right?
Yeah, all I can do is a Jaeger bomb. I didn't know how to get too fancy.
That's dope. For me, I actually normally I make a dish for this show. This time, not so much. I didn't go from scratch on this one and the reason why is because I feel like Attack on Titan is a type of anime where it's a very story heavy, enriched kind of anime where it has dope animation, of course, But this is an anime where you're watching it, you're going to have to pay attention to what's going on, or you're not going to understand what's happening 2 episodes later. So if you're not watching and paying attention to the story, you're not going to get it. And so in the spirit of that, I bought mostly snacks. I did everything I got here. Of course, I got my whole plate of snacks here. And I bought some of my favorites. I got the Taekwondo big seaweed roll. I gotta have one of those. I got them in barbecue, and I got the original flavor. Very delicious. Perfect for when watching something. I also bought some of my favorite little snackies. I got some Welch's strawberry fruit snacks and some K-Town coconut and sesame crackers. I have never tried these before, but I love coconut. And I love sesame, and I want to try them together. So this is a brand new thing for me.
Let us know how you like it.
Oh, I most definitely will. And also just for kind of an entree, I wanted to go with something that was, quick, easy. So I got me some barbecue sticky buns. They're barbecue pork sticky buns. They are delicious. You could steam them or you could throw them in the microwave. Mine were microwavable, 4 minutes. I'm ready to go. And this is what I would normally do if I was sitting down watching the anime. I would get me, well, not an anime, but specifically Attack on Titan. I would get like snack kind of stuff. I wouldn't worry about too much cooking. Yeah, that you could just kind of eat and throw away the wrappers and keep it moving, because you got to be glued to the story to really get it. So with that said, and now that we've gotten all our dishes out of the way, ladies, Attack on Titan. Now, again, we're going to start again, we don't have to go through all 3 seasons, but I do kind of want to go through the story in general, because I feel like for this particular anime, the story is where it's at. I mean, you're going to have your animation moments where you're going to have some dope animation as well. But I feel like this anime and the manga is mostly all about what's going on, the story thus far, and how rich the history and what's involved in the story kind of happens. Like, you're not going to get too much filler. You're not going to get a whole lot of character development. No one's going to, you're going to get none of that. So it's going to be like absolutely, as far as the characters, you can't really get attached because no one is safe. Like, this is literally The Walking Dead set to animation. It's no one's safe. Anyone can go at any point. So I like that. I think it keeps the story fluid. It keeps it fresh, and it keeps you kind of at the edge of your seat. So with that said, starting from season 1. Now, for me, again, I kind of touched on this before. It was really slow getting into this anime because it was like, all right, what the hell's in the basement? And why is it like they're not coming out with the second season? It's going to take another year. Nothing. I don't know what's going on. So for me, it was really hard to kind of get into it. But once I did, once I went from season 1 and kind of like, okay, we're introduced to who the main characters are and what the story is starting off about, I became more interested in it. It went from, all right, I'd like to know what's going to happen to I gotta know what's going to happen next. Like, it went from that for me. I don't know if you ladies had the same experience, but what was it like for you diving into the story in the beginning? And what were some of your favorite, initial parts that made you in the first 2 seasons go, okay, well, why did that happen? Or what's going to happen next? So give us some of your ideas of what you think about the story while I stuff my face here.
I don't mind starting. I will not hog the time.
No, please.
I think with season 1, me watching it and being like, okay, I'm watching this, cool. And I think most people, it shocked them is when Aaron is eaten. When he dives in as the main character and he's like, I got you, Armin. You good, you safe. And he's like, cool. And he's like, all right. And dead. Arm gone. We out. Like, and then you don't see him for a few episodes. So you're like, I thought this was the main character. This is not how stuff usually goes. What's happening?
Right. He was kind of here, and then
in this
you didn't expect for him to get eaten.
Right. You have a theme of more questions than answers. Because again, we got to the end of season 3, and we finally find out about the basement that was mentioned in literally episode 1. 60 some odd episodes in. And you're finally getting that. And when you get the question answered, you have 70 million more questions. So you still haven't even gotten all your questions answered.
I still have questions. I've seen all 3 seasons. I still got questions from season 2 and 3.
I am up to date on the manga, and I'm still like, so are we gonna touch base on this?
Like, are we gonna? Yeah, and you know what? Attack on Titan is filled with those little moments where you're watching, and you're like, wait, what did he just say? Are we gonna circle back around? Wait a minute, hold up, and you rewind it just to make sure that they said exactly what you heard them say, just because you're like a little, curious as to why did it go down like that. But there's a lot of moments where the story kind of leads you where it answers something that gives you more, like it answers it in a way that gives you more questions. And I like that.
And I will say, when we talk about it being Walking Dead, what I mean is, I think, like most people who may have started watching Walking Dead, aside from the comic, we're like, ooh, zombies. This seems cool. Same with me. I like gore. I like dark themes. So I was like, oh, people getting, and I am a chicken. I don't like horror movies. I don't watch any of that. So when you guys were like, oh, it was really scary, I'm like, I really liked this. It wasn't that scary to me, but it was really good. But also it turned and morphed into something that, again, like Walking Dead, you think it's about zombies, and then it starts being about people and the relationships with people and how we act as people and who is good and bad and who says who is good and bad. And it's the same things that you get with Attack on Titan, because there is a scene, and I will call back to the scene all the time. It's in season 2. It's when, it might be 2. I think it's 2. It's when Ymir and Eren have gotten captured by Reiner and Bertolt. Again, y'all better be up to date. I'm sorry, spoiler alert.
Right.
Reiner and Bertolt have captured Ymir and Eren, and they're standing in the treetops. And Eren is so upset. And he's like, Ymir, what's going on? What's going on? Who is our enemy? And she looks at him and she says, who knows? Who knows who is right? And who knows who is wrong? Who decides who is the good guy in the scenario? Because on everybody fighting in a war thinks their side is the right side, that they are doing the right thing. So again, that's where you have to start really looking inside and being like, ooh, who is the bad guy here?
Now, see, the thing about that, and I wanted to kind of touch base on that, and again, I think Walking Dead has gotten just as much shout out and love throughout this episode as Attack on Titan has, but you can't really shirk the similarities between the two. And in all honesty, the zombies, not unlike the Titans, are the monsters within or without, however you want to look at it. But it's that what would happen if we became the monsters, if like, dying turned you into a flesh-eating zombie, or in this case, if you were given the powers of a Titan, how you would decide to what your actions would be based off of, what you would eat, which is other people and why. At first, and again, I'm glad we actually brought this up, because I wanted to kind of get an idea from all you ladies of what you thought about this, but the Titans in general, because we've kind of talked about this, it being a horror themed show, as overall villains, right? When I first saw the Titans, and I think I gotta share the same kind of feeling Tara and Barbara had on this one. When I first saw, and I'm not freaked out by mannequins or dolls, but when I first saw the Titans, I was like, it was taken aback by the fact that they were humanoid and that they were naked and that they were just like kind of lumbering all over the place and like very easy to, like, you could see a Titan from almost anywhere outside of it snatching you up from outside your peripheral vision. You can see and hear a Titan coming from a mile away because they're so big. And then you have the ones that are a little bit smaller but still do the same amount of damage. And I'm looking at these villains in this show, or rather what seem to be the villains in this show, and I'm like, yo, what would that be like if like you stepped outside and just saw a big naked guy kind of, eating everybody? Like, how
you
would
turn
right,
and you lock the door?
It would really invoke. It's scary. Like, and they could be anywhere. Like, that's the thing, is that there's no, like, I don't remember there being like an area where the Titans kind of migrated from and came to Walmaria or the wall cities. I think it was just like they were just around, kind of like a bird or a squirrel, like how you just would walk down the street and see one. That's how I equated the Titans. Is like you would just be minding your business, I don't know, flying a kite, and the next thing you know, it would hit a Titan in the head, and then he would look at you and chase you and try to eat you. And how do you guys feel about that? As as the Titans being the villains, like how did you when you first saw them? Were you like, because I didn't think that they were the villains. I thought that it was just some kind of, it's an anime, so just some kind of character that was just there. But then when I saw that these were the bad guys, how did you guys feel about that? When you saw like. Go ahead, Sierra.
I got my hand up. Yes, I am so glad you touched on that because that was going to be my piece that I was going to bring in. When I first had seen the Titan, like, I was like, there is no way that these people are not some science experiment gone wrong. And lo and behold, they were, no, y'all were told to leave. So if you stay, then you're going to get some spoilers. The Eldians and the Marlians. So I'm going to take it back a little bit. I like how as the seasons progressed, you started to see how, now this is how I took it personally, how the discrimination became so deep and ingrained. And I actually related that, right? Yeah, I related that to my everyday, me being in, just America and the world and things like that. And how just because something had happened that everybody gets the blame for something that wasn't even done intentionally nor on purpose. The actions of one became the sins of all. And I hated that. Yeah. And again, it was the Eldians who were just, you're walking around with these bands on and you can literally be minding your business and you can get beat on, jumped on, spit at, things like that. You can be just because somebody lies on you, you can be taken to that wall, stuck in the bottom of your neck with a needle and be turned into a Titan. And I just never, I kind of empathized with the Titans a bit because I'm like, I know that there's something wrong. I know that, these people didn't want this. They didn't, and the more that it became more apparent that I was right. Especially Connie's mother, when he had went back to his village and he had seen his mother and she was a Titan, like it broke my heart because Connie's another one I had to mama bear a little bit, but
little Connie,
somebody who didn't, literally do nothing wrong squad, just because, again, you don't know who the villains are, you don't know who the heroes are, and you don't even know where the lines are because they're all completely like, they're not even blurred, they're like mashed together at this point. And you have, innocent, just family and not even doing anything. You're thinking that you're going off to protect these people, but at the end, you can't even do anything about it. And it just made me sick, especially when the wall Maria, like towards the end of season 2, beginning of season 3, somewhere in there, when they started to see that these walls are Titans, I was like, my God. And then these Titans, they're not dead, they're alive. They're in these walls. And it's like, we know that they don't have thinking or subconsciouses or feelings or whatever, and I think that's crap because I'm sure that they do. And you kind of see towards the end of season 3 where that one Titan that ate Aaron's mom, like you can't tell me that she wasn't a woman scorn Titan and she went and she just went and ate the next woman. Okay, like we peeped that.
She ride for her man, girl.
I peeped that.
I'm gonna tell you something. I never thought about it that way.
Her.
But now thinking about it as you're saying it, like her facial expressions, the way she kind of
exactly.
I could get it. I get what
that just confirmed that they have thought, they have memory, they have, and like Ymir was saying how she was a Titan.
Well, the Beast Titan, I thought was kind of the apex of Titans can or at some point will have some kind of cognitive ability. Like he sat and had a conversation with a regular human.
He's the only Titan that can talk. The rest, like the 9 founding Titans, they all have some type of job and they all have cognitive thinking.
Okay.
So each of them have their own specific. Yeah. They have their own specific part to play, and they know how to think cognitively because they have their person inside of them.
So that's not possible for the regular Titans.
as we know.
Okay.
Yeah.
As we know.
Because I'm not even gonna say no, because like right now, as we know,
Who knows?
We don't.
Who
We
knows?
still find
Who
out.
knows? But it was just like that. That was really just resonating with me. How, I mean, these Titans are people who minding their own business and just happen to be walking, and a Marley says something, and it's like, okay, that's a little black boy walking down the street minding his business, and he just fit the description. That's just how I felt. You know what I'm saying? And I hated that, but I liked how they had like played it to a part that I could relate at, and it made it feel more deeper to me.
Yeah, they definitely made it realistic. Like that, I think that was the first feeling I got, was just racism in general.
Right.
Yes.
The Marlians, and when they went back and forth, and kind of when they fed the little girl to the dogs.
Oh my gosh.
I got a real like Nazi Germany kind of overall aesthetic from that scene in the anime, and it was just like that. It took me there. It took me to like Germany and during the time of World War I, and I just was thinking like, wow, that's wild that they would do it like that. But that's people, and I think that's the overall aesthetic, is that human beings left to our own devices, no matter how advanced we get or how powerful we will become, there's always going to be that little community of us that can act that way, that can decide we're better than everyone else and exact that will upon everyone else. And I think that's dope that the anime tied that in without, pointing at one specific type of people. It was just people in general that kind of got together and was like, well, we're better than those people over there, and how that kind of started. And that's literally how it works in real life. Like, it only takes a few idiots in a room to kind of be sitting there going, well, here's the reasons why we think we're better than those people, and now we can treat them that way because that's what we think. And how it
was conditioned for years, decades,
from the beginning, like literally
centuries.
To feel that they were
exactly. And I like how it's like unraveling. Like, for the manga readers, I like how it's unraveling, and how like we see how things of the past are being undone with where they're at in the manga. And
we're gonna definitely have to circle back to that, because I actually got a question about that. Okay. But, any other ladies want to go about the Titans? What you felt seeing them as villains in the beginning, Taryn? I would love to hear your reaction to what you felt when you first saw the Titans, not just because of your fear
mannequin phobia,
but like when you saw that these were the villains and how they acted. Like, how did you feel? Like, did you have any?
My mind actually just went somewhere else when listening to you and Sierra talking, because when Sierra was talking about the armbands and the discrimination, that made me think of Nazi Germany too. And I was wondering if that's somehow signified by the German aspect, Aaron Yeager. But then I was like, no, because their names represent all different types of cultures. So I think it's more so what you were talking about, Ian, how it's representative of people. Because you have Aaron Yeager, but then you have Mikasa, and you have Jean, and you have, Connie. So they come from all these different areas. It's not just like steeped in one culture. So I think it is supposed to speak to the nature of humanity and how it can be anybody. And also when you were talking about Connie, Sierra, and when he found his parents, like that's a scene that stuck with me too. And in relation to like the Walking Dead references, that was kind of like when Shane died and then he came back, because that was like that. Oh crap! I mean, this can happen to anybody. Like, you don't have to be bitten first. So yeah, when he got there and there were people, and now they're not, let you know that the Titans weren't born Titans. They weren't like this race of people.
Yeah.
That it could happen to anybody. And I think that really messed me up. But my reaction to them initially, I think fascination. Because they're naked and they're running, but then in their faces you have like the muscular structure that you can see with the bones, and they seem diverse in their representation as well. Because you have the abnormals who just run around flailing and running into walls and all that, and then the sizes are dramatic.
Abnormals scare me the most.
Yeah.
If something chased me like that, I would probably fall from looking back, watching him run like that. I would definitely fall and get eaten.
The worst Titan, actually, that the one that did, like, when I was like, okay, this is weird. It was in season 3 when Sasha goes on her horse to find, they think that there's a hole in the wall, so they're all going out, and Sasha goes to this home, and there's a woman in this home being eaten by a Titan, and she's paralyzed. So she's just laying there half dead. She can't feel anything.
Oh, yes. I know the scene.
And
Oh.
she's being eaten by a Titan. And it's not by a 30-meter Titan. It's by probably, 9-10 foot. So again, a really tall person. And the daughter is just sitting in the corner. That was the creepiest one. Because then when they leave and you see it like duck under the thing and you're like, that creeps me out. Because again, like you said, I can see you, you're way over there, I can hear you. But if you're just like I'm only 5 feet. You're just a really tall, creepy person trying to eat me?
Yeah.
That was the scariest one for me. All the other ones I could see you cool. But you just a really tall person, you're gonna just swoop me up. Nah. I'm good with that.
Take a big bite out of me. Yeah, that's not cool, man. Shelby, how did you feel when you first saw the Titans?
It definitely was very jarring to me. I mean, I'm a huge horror fan, so most of the horror villains I see, it's like small little things that like hide in the dark and stuff like that. These are out there, like you cannot miss them type of thing. Like, I think the creepiest type of like scene I had saw, it was when they were in the trees and you just saw one like hiding behind the tree just staring at you, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah,
that was so
that would
creepy.
mess me up for life too. Like when I seen their ability to be stealthy when they're eating, like they can hunt. They may not be very intelligent, but they know how to hunt. Like they can watch people.
They're watching you.
And then they'll just come out when they feel like they can get you. And that's like wild that you brought that scene up where they were kind of in the trees and all you saw was like the eye,
a side face.
Yeah, it's like
like, oh, that freaked me out so bad.
I use that as my one of those creepy Titans. I actually use like the peeking Titan as my Zoom background for work. So yeah,
nice.
It's the best.
But like, I mean, obviously it's very jarring because obviously nudity is something that the media tries to see as like a bad thing. So already seeing like humanoid type creatures that are nude is already a little jarring to the normal person. But then like, it was just so bizarre to me because like obviously they still looked human.
Right.
You could tell they are not. And like a big question that still I have not had answered is like, obviously they're turning these people into Titans, but how, like, what's the difference between someone that gets turned into an abnormal and a normal Titan? Like, are they giving them something different, or is it like?
I'm guessing it's the deficiency in human beings in general, like how you would have a Michael Jordan versus Joe Schmo from around the corner playing ball at the park. Maybe it has something to do with the physiology. No.
So they kind of touch on it when you hear about Ymir and the 9 Titans. So Ymir took her power and spread it into 9 Titans, and we've seen 8 thus far. We will see the 9th in season 4. So there are 9 Titans. They go over that in season 3, I think. But these Titans can be passed along, as you saw with Ymir. She's the Jaw Titan because she ate another Jaw Titan. So if a normal Titan, like when they made Armin a mindless Titan, we can call him a mindless Titan. They made Armin, who was on the brink of death. They gave him the shot, turned him into a Titan. Because he then ate Bertolt, who was a Titan, one of the pure, what they call a pure Titan. He then gained
the colossal Titan.
Oh, I meant like the abnormals, like the ones that they would define as abnormal, like the ones that run really fast and stuff like that. That's what I was confused. Like, what differentiate people like that were able to run fast or jump or climb and stuff, apart from just the ones that just walk around slowly?
Yeah, they haven't answered that, I don't think.
Yeah, that's what I was answering. Is that I'm guessing it has to do with
my bad
human physiology.
I got excited. I apologize.
No,
sorry, guys.
No, you're good. But I would, if I had to guess, that's what I would think is that obviously, if you were more of an athletic, stronger, more virile person in life, you would probably be an abnormal Titan, or when you got turned, you would be an abnormal Titan. Whereas if you ate bonbons all day and watched soap operas, you might end up being abnormal. I mean, you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm thinking. But again, and one of the reasons why I love this anime overall is I don't know, and no one else really does.
No one knows. Yeah,
it hasn't been mentioned. Like we are now getting into the history of what the Titans are. Like in season 3, you're just finding this out. Like after 2 long seasons of watching this anime, and you don't really know anything. Like you're kind of just like coasting along until they give you more information, and that's dope that they did that. But Actually, we're going to circle back around to some of the story where Sierra had kind of touched on this. The history of, well, I don't know how to call it. I don't know what was the name of the two different original races?
Eldians and Marlians.
Eldians and Marlians. Okay, the history of the Eldians and Marlians and the memories. Obviously, there are some Eldians and Marlians who are experiencing flashbacks of the future. Is that a correct kind of way of putting it? Like they're seeing what's going to happen, or they have memories of what's going to happen versus.
Who are you referencing?
I'm just saying in general. Well, there's only been what 2 or 3 of them introduced in the show so far that I know of. Like there hasn't been a whole lot of Eldians and Marlians. From what I know, there's only been 2 that's been introduced.
No,
I mean not overall. I mean there's a whole race of them, but I mean that are like
everybody behind the walls.
Yes, that's what I mean. Like who, like how does that tie in the memories? Are they glimpses of the future, or is it clairvoyance that they're experiencing?
No. So Eldians are the only race that turn into Titans.
Okay,
so the Marlians like that. Well, this is going to be explained in season 4, so I can't really speak too much about it. Okay. But there was, Streamback from Ymir, who ended up making a deal with the devil and got these powers, and then she went ahead and she spread them out to the 9 founding Titans. So the only Titan that has the memories is the founding Titan, because this is what was explained in in the season 2.
So it's just him who
3,
gets the flashbacks.
Because the founding Titan,
all the Titan shifters can access the memories of past Titan shifters. So if I'm the colossal, so if I'm the colossal Titan, I can access the memories of other colossal Titans.
Right. But the founding Titan has all the memories of all time.
Yes.
And that's why that person is the founding Titan.
Like the Titan, like the armor Titan. Let's just say the original guy who had that power was still alive. Right?
No,
I'm not saying.
No, keep going. He's going.
Oh, okay. I thought he was saying, I'm like, well, no, they have a time limit, but
let's just say the original guy with the armor is still alive. He can remember things that are going to happen with anyone who's going to come in contact with that power. So not
in the future.
So not the future, but just the people who
he sees the past of every single armor Titan.
Okay.
Just like the Colossal Titan sees the past of every single Colossal Titan. And they also inherit their feelings. They inherit their emotions. They inherit any type of, like, because you can kind of see, like, when Armin had died and they injected him with the Titan fluid, and he went on ahead and he ate Bertolt. He starts to have this attraction towards Annie, because we know that Bertolt actually liked Annie. So he inherited Bertolt's feelings for Annie, and he didn't know what it was in the beginning, but he started to realize that, okay, this is what it is. This is how, like, he kind of.
But they'll go over that in season 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I know I also had that, like, slight confusion, because I know when it's showing Eren can see his father's memories in that conversation with the man that had the attack Titan.
And this is why I asked.
So he had said, protect Armin and Mikasa. So originally I was like, wait, is this like...
How does he know who they are?
Yeah, is this something he...
So that doesn't even really clearly get explained until... I would say in the manga here recently. So trust me, when I read that in the manga, I was like, huh? There are some things in the series that are going to be like, what? And then you're going to be like, what?
You're going to see like 5 episodes, and the 6th episode is going to explain the last 5.
Yes. So why Eren had flashbacks is Eren has the founding Titan, which is usually, because it's the founding Titan, held with royal blood, which is the whole reason with all that. So when he came into contact kissing Historia, also why when he punched the Titan that got his mom and then all the other Titans, because that Titan who ate his mom was royal blood. So when the founding Titan comes in contact with royalty, that's what triggers this. So those are the flashbacks you're seeing. So no, not everyone has it, but usually the founding titan is held by a member of the royal line. So that's why you're seeing these little anomalies happen, and why they're like, huh? And they start to piece it together that's what's going on.
Okay. All right. Another part I wanted to Annie. I feel like Annie has not gotten the shine that she deserves. She's not quite a Mikasa, but Annie was Ms. Lionheart, if I may refer to her as such, really kind of stole the show for me in season 2. Now, I wasn't expecting. I honestly, I pieced it together when I saw her and Aaron go at it. I knew she was the female Titan right there. Like, I knew Annie was, because I put the training when they were doing their fighting training, and when the way she moved, I was like, I was like, that's that blonde. I was like, don't nobody script like that blonde chick.
Yeah.
There she go. I see you, Taryn. But I was like, yeah, don't nobody script like that blonde chick. I really like that Annie was that way. But it was like, I love the fact that it was because of her that kind of broke my theory, as far as I didn't realize. I thought the Titans at first were just anomalies and like just beasts that kind of were created by, Mother Earth somehow.
Whoever, yeah.
But then I realized with Annie that Titans were people. I knew right then and there, without knowing, I knew Titans were people because of the way she transformed. Obviously, we learned a lot more about that, and we're a lot more knowledgeable about the transformation between having the power of a Titan and being able to transform and stuff like that, and where you're located within the Titan and stuff. And that's why the scouts attack certain places. But I thought that was really cool that I was able to decipher that she was the female Titan by just her movements, like without any spoilers, without anybody telling me. Just by watching her move, I was like, wait a minute. Rewinded it and seen it. I was like,
I know who that is.
I knew that. Right. So I kind of let it go. And then once I realized I was right, I love that aspect. But let's talk about Miss Lionheart for a second. Now her beginning, when she first came in, the squad, and she kind of got familiar with everybody. Did you guys think that it was a little unfair how kind of she was already affiliated, granted, with, let's say, the more black hat side of things? But I like the fact that she still had this kind of love, or at least admiration, for the people she kind of trained with, the scouts. Obviously, she was there on a mission that had to do what she had to do. But did you guys see how it was hard for her? Or was that just me? Was I hoping for too much, or did I see a more human side of Annie than you guys?
I agree with him. I agree with him.
It was just
I do too.
So,
well, then it's just me then, because I don't like Toucan Sam. Okay, I don't like that.
So I used to be with Sierra that I was like, no. But I recently did. I watch Attack on Titan all the time. If I can't sleep, I put it on. And I recently did from episode 1. Now knowing everything I know, going back and it's like the Sixth Sense. Sixth Sense, you go back and rewatch it after you know, and you start looking for all these little things. And I do feel that. I feel that Annie did care. I have a little bit more respect for her than I do. Actually, a lot more respect for her than Reiner and them.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you see Reiner and Bertolt, they're chumming with everybody.
And their minds are kind of made up. Reiner and Bertolt, I think, were kind of like,
I think
they don't care. Everyone has to die. This is how it's got to be. I don't think Annie thought that way.
I do. I think that she did, but I also think that she knew well enough that she wasn't going to buddy up, knowing that I'm possibly going to have to kill you guys all.
Right,
so I'm not going to be sleeping with y'all, hearing about how your family died, knowing I was responsible for it. I'm not going to do any of that. She was just like, I'm going to stick to myself because I'm not going to get attached to y'all. I feel that's more where she was coming from, and I can respect that. Yeah. Because, yes, she still had a mission, rather than these two goofballs like, what happened to your mom?
You can see the human side of that. You know what I mean? You could see the more human, more vulnerable side of Annie versus, I didn't see it in Reinhardt. Like, I didn't see that same. For him, it was just kind of like, if you're in the way, you're in the way. With Annie, it was just kind of like, you could see the regret in her face, especially when she had to turn and they were asking her to come down into the sewers with her, with them. And like the way she looked at them, it was like, in my opinion, she was saying goodbye. Without saying it, she was kind of saying like, okay, obviously I can't hide it anymore. And you could see the kind of regret where you could see that was hard for her in that moment.
Well, if you think about before that, where she's in the alleyway and she's talking with Armin, and she says something about being a good, like, oh, you don't think that makes me a bad guy or something. And they're not talking about this specifically, but they're having kind of a verbal dance. And Armin says, well, I don't label people good or bad. And you can tell that she was kind of like, almost like a relief, because she knew I'm doing something that you guys probably think is bad. And he kind of was like, well, I don't really label good or bad, because who knows?
Right. If
you watch that scene again, knowing what you know, you can see the kind of relief, because she's like, yeah, I'm a bad guy, but I'm doing this and you don't even understand why I'm doing it.
Like, I don't think anybody really understood what was going on until it was revealed.
Right, until But I'm gonna take it back. My bad. Let me sidebar in here. So, little respect for Annie. But I want to take it back to Raynor, because like in season, what was it? The end of season 2, beginning of season 3, when we had actually found out what had actually happened, how Raynor, Bertolt, Annie, and their fourth friend, I can't think of his name, had come over to Paradise Island, and how he had sacrificed himself for the great of the mission. Now, I like also how Attack on Titan hints on mental health, right? Raynor was mentally damaged, scarred,
PTSD,
traumatized. And for him to put up that facade that he was actually a scout, this is his life, he's a friend, I don't really put blame on him for how he was acting, because this was his safe spot, because he, split personality disorder here. He knew that he had a mission, and Bertolt kept, hitting him like, hey, we have this mission. Why are you so buddy-buddy with them? But in a sense, Raynor didn't want to do that, because this is where he had got safe at. He didn't want to do this mission because the beginning of the mission started off terrible, and he's lost his friend.
Right.
Like you can even see in some of his flashbacks, like when they killed Marco, it was just, Raynor was struggling so bad with it. Like, he, him, Bertolt, and Annie, they were sitting there, they took his ODM gear. And then when the Titan came and was eating Marco, he was like, Bertolt, Annie, Marco's being eaten. He's being eaten right now. And he was crying, and the visible, like, you can see where his brain.
He was upset. He couldn't.
Yeah. And it was
5 minutes ago, he was like, take his gear. He's done.
And it was so deep. And it's like, we also have to remember, these are teenagers. These are kids who are going, literally in this horrible spot. You were given a Titan that shortens your life expectancy to whatever amount of years, and you have to do this type of mission to go and kill this for the great of the great of the Marlians, and they're essentially Eldians killing off their own people. And on top of all of that, you still have this possible great risk of being eaten yourself. So I think that each individual person ended up taking all of that into themselves. Annie being distant, Bertolt just really being so, he was like always kind of flaky, kind of scary, kind of to me. He always was like timid. He wanted to do what Bertolt was doing, but he wanted to do what Annie was doing at the same time. He didn't know where to go. And then Bertolt completely was just in this delusion one half of the time, and in this other, his reality the other half of the time. So I liked how these characters, again, like I said, character development was chef's kiss, because they all had depth and they all had development. And you could literally, like, I don't want to say sympathize, because like top 10 anime betrayals, Bertolt and Raynor being the Colossal Titan and the Armor Titan, I was sick. Let's just put that out there, okay? That was like eyes in bleach betrayal. Like, I was sick.
But they were scouts. Yeah, I think that threw everybody for a loop.
Oh, I was hurt. I was like, wow.
Especially
like,
how they said it.
People.
And it's
he
like
said
that
it so
in the
nonchalant.
manga.
Right. Yeah. And it's like,
he's like, hey, it's
yeah, when they were on the roof talking to Aaron, are you
and then Bertolt looked at him so crazy.
Really,
he was like, are you serious right now? Like, but it's, again, I think that just Raynor was getting so bubbled up. He didn't know, like, his brain mentally could not continue to suppress everything that he was trying to internalize. And like, you'll start to see in like season 4 how all, like, as he has grown, like how that has also hindered him, and affected him is a better word for it. So I like Rainer more than Annie, but it's more so because I feel genuinely Rainer really did not want to do what he was forced to do.
Okay. Shelby,
That's how I feel.
Karen, how do you guys feel about Annie as far as that contrast is concerned? You heard from us. How did you guys feel when you first found out who Annie was and how she was revealed? Like, did you feel that? Did you see the same thing that Danielle and I kind of saw? Did you see the kind of regret and you know the empathy for what she was doing? Not so much that she was not going to do it, but did you see her struggling like we did? Because she's kind of written as a cold-hearted character. Like the way Annie's written was just like you could see how she would be more of a okay, I got to do this and just kind of move on to the next thing she has to do. But you would see these glimpses where she would struggle with that. Did you guys get that, or did you not get it with that character?
I didn't with her, and with Annie, I'm honestly pretty neutral. I remember not being all that surprised when it was revealed who she was and what she could do, and I'm trying to think of where that came from. And I don't know if it was apathy or they're expecting that people are people. So of course, you have people who would be like this,
Right.
Because that's just the nature of how we are.
Interestingly enough, that brings us back to our earlier point when we were talking like that monster within. Like it's funny how even though if you get the Titan powers or regardless if you get the Titan powers or if you're just kind of left here on devices, like people will kind of at the end of the world when it's, you know, just a little bit of people left, like these are the issues we're going to face. Like you're going to see some of this going on, you know what I mean? Like you can relate and understand like and go, that is the nature of human beings. But I'm sorry, please continue.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That you have monsters inside the walls and outside, and then how do you escape when the monsters are internal? When monsters are not always something that you can identify, kind of like what you were talking about with the smaller titans. What do you do when the monster isn't 100 meters tall? What if he's 10 meters or 5? What do you do when the monster? It's kind of like Satan. Like that's what it's making me thinking of, this fallen angel. And I remember I used to teach a world religions course, and Satan was described as beautiful in the Bible. So it wasn't like this demonic figure with horns and fangs.
Yeah, creepy.
Yeah, and creepy wrinkles. And he was a handsome man. So, and what do you do with that? What happens when you can't tell somebody's intent or tell the nature?
Well, I, for one, can say that's such a burden to have to be a handsome man and walk around, and it's a lot. It's a lot to have to do. All I can say is I can relate to that. Just wanted to say that.
One scene before Shelby starts real quick that I think was you guys were talking about it earlier when we talk about the Titans and the enemies. After they go to the basement and they're riding to the sea, they come across a Titan that has been there for however long, and he's like got no arms hardly, and he's just face down stuck. And Aaron, whose mantra has literally been for 3 full seasons, I'm going to kill all Titans. I'm riding out. Let's go. He comes across this Titan. Everybody gets off the horse, and he's looking at, and the way you can see the change then, and it only starts to grow, the kind of blankness in his face. And he looks at this Titan, and then everybody gets on their horse and they ride out. And Floke, whatever his name is, he is like, wait, aren't we going to kill this Titan? But you can already tell that they're like, we now know what these are.
Right.
Why are we now knowing who they are you okay with just killing them? Yeah. Again, it's not doing anything to us. We can just leave him here. Do we need to kill another one of our fellow patriots? Another one. And when you see everybody kind of be like, yeah, we're kind of done with this killing, you start to realize it's not the Titans weren't really the issue. It was us.
It was the people.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Shelby?
So I definitely have to agree with Ian and Danielle on this one. So watching the series, I could tell Annie struggled more with this than Rainer and Berthold did, because obviously Annie had saved Connie, and then she also spared Armin, And then even when the scene where they kill Marco, like she comes in and there's the horror in her face and she immediately starts crying like, are we really going to do this right now? And I could tell, obviously, that's why she didn't want to get close to them. But even though she tried to put up a front and is like, oh, I'm not going to care about these people, she still cares.
Oh, yeah.
And still had a hard time.
That was my main question. I just wanted to see if you saw that like I did, because I was a little biased because I liked her and I wanted her to have a little, like I wanted her to be a little more human. You know what I'm saying? Like I kind of wanted to kind of connect to that because I like the character. But I was just curious as if you guys saw that like I did. But that's amazing that you did. Please.
Yeah, I don't think it was until the third season when you see the scene and what actually happened to Marco. I don't think it was until then and I saw her reaction that it all started like kind of coming back to me in a sense. And I'm like, man, she really does care for these people. Where obviously like Rainer and Berthold, they were a little more like, no, we got to get this done.
Yeah,
like we got to do this.
Yeah, I think they were like, no, there's no negotiation. I think had it would have been reversed, had Annie been in charge or the person to go to as far as that little 3-man squad was concerned, I think that negotiation would have been a little bit, like there would have been a lot more hope for it in that particular regard. But like with Reinhold kind of being the guy, he was like, no, the only way this ends is with y'all dying. Like that's, if you all want to lay down and die, then yes, that would be helpful. But other than
but even with Berthold, that was even the first reaction that he had. They start talking about Annie and he was like, he freaked out. He was like, but wait, no. It wasn't until the second time where he kind of got the, like, all right, no, I got to do this. So, and even Reiner, he's, like Sierra said, he has to compartmentalize this. Yeah. He's not like, hey, F this. He's literally like, I'm a warrior, which is that side, and I'm a scout or a soldier, which is
the other side
of our scout.
There was a lot of push, and now that you mention it, there was a lot of push and pull between all three characters. Because and I'm glad I brought this up because I didn't notice it with the other two, so it gives me something to kind of rewatch.
Oh yeah, they still suck. They still suck. I give Andy more of a.
Oh yeah, no. We hate all of them. No. We're still in all the same club. We hate all of them, but it's just like
and I think because Annie, we see her, we don't get as much screen time, and we don't get to like Taryn said, it makes perfect sense that she feels neutral about Annie because we don't really get to know her. She's not really talking. Then we get this awesome fight scene, and then she's in a crystal, and she's still in the crystal at end of season 3, and I mean, and so on and so forth. So it's like, I can see why you don't have a lot of feeling for her, or you feel like, because we don't know her. At this point, if you are watching the anime, you don't really know her. No, that's why I agree with Sierra. I've agreed with her. We're like, oh, Team Annie, boo. Team Annie is horrible. We don't like her. And then I was like, well.
All right, predictions. Annie's going to on Crystal, and she's going to do something dope for everybody. I don't
even know.
She's gonna come back and she's gonna
drink some water in manga reader
for Sierra. I think she's gonna do it specifically for Sierra, and he's gonna come back and redeem herself. She's gonna do something awesome and end up everybody's favorite. Watch, that's
drinks water in manga.
Shout out to AJ West.
Drinks water in manga reader.
AJ's been riding for Annie since chapter 1, and anytime Sierra and I would give him crap, he would be like, nah. So I literally just told him this week. I said, hey, I have to publicly say I take back everything I said about her. And she hasn't done anything wild. Just learning more about the character, I start to feel more for her.
Okay. Captain Levi's whole squad wasn't wild. I mean, did you see what she did to Petra? I mean, she smushed that girl in the tree. I mean, my God.
No, she wrecked shop when it was in the.
You know what you're doing the scouts for?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think those are the hardest.
He was spinning folks around on their ODM gear. I'm like, oh, you a bitch for real. You did that on purpose. Like
that was a little petty. That was a little
right. Now you see why I don't really fool with her. Like, man.
But when in Rome, you're fighting the scouts of
you spinning folks around that you train with their ODM gear. That's what we doing.
They know why they joined the scouts. They know why they joined the scouts.
If I could.
He football punted a horse with a scout on it. Y'all are not gonna bypass this.
Yo, y'all
are not gonna do that.
Tree, When she kicked old girl into the tree, I was like, damn.
She smushed her.
And then they
into the tree.
and then they give you the slow motion pan of it, like.
I was like,
right?
Those were
Like,
definitely
y'all
like the
just
hardest
bloody-
death scenes for me.
Those
Like,
were
that
some
whole-
of the worst deaths because it was
Exactly.
Annie. Like she could have just went on ahead and like smacked him or something. I mean, like
smacked
literally,
her around and knocked
she
him
could pick them up and
Them.
drop them, and that would have been better for me. No, the tree. Like
She's fucking about.
she football punted the horse. Like what did the
Because we
horse
had
do?
time with those characters. Because everybody else who was dying, you're like, okay, I only saw them for 5 seconds, but you
Right.
spent a lot of time with Levi Squad. So when they all were like, and then you had that really inspiring episode where it showed how they're like, hey, Aaron, we got your back. We're always here for you. And I'm like, yeah, they're always here
Next
for him.
episode,
And I was
they're
like,
killed viciously.
and they're
Walking
dead.
Dead has trained me for these moments. Anytime they start to make us love the characters, I'm like, oh, he gonna die. He gonna die.
They die.
He gonna die. But real quick, let's get some before we end, let's get some predictions. We'll go from Shelby to Taryn to Sierra to Danielle. One prediction for season 4. Doesn't have to be anything too involved, but just something that you think is gonna happen. I already gave mine. Annie's gonna come out the crystal and she's gonna do something heroic. She's gonna redeem herself. I think Annie is gonna be a focal point of melding the two races together and making everything better. So,
No, because like we're caught up on the manga, so we can't really.
all right, dear, don't tell me. I want to be. If I'm wrong, I want to be wrong, but I need to know what's gonna happen. Shelby,
Better start reading that manga.
Yeah, I know. I'm not even gonna touch the manga. I'm just gonna watch all the way until I learn. I can't.
Well, you might be waiting a whole nother year until it is.
Really, it won't come out for another year.
Well, I mean, think about it. We had to wait 2.5 years for season 2 to even come out.
Right. Yeah.
Well, hold on. I think that they will do. This will go 16 episodes for 4 months. So you're thinking spring. They may release it in fall of 2021, but most likely you're looking at the same time next year that the part 2 of the final season will come out. So you're literally thinking maybe the what they call the winter, which starts around December, January. That comes. And again, that's best case scenario. With what they have to animate, it could be longer with COVID, all that.
Well, I might as well go ahead and start reading the mangas then.
Just read.
And the manga's going to be over in, I would say, my prediction 5 or less. But that's not my prediction. That's just my prediction of when it's going to be.
Okay. No, we got you. All
right. My bad.
You want to give you a prediction?
Oh, me?
No, Shelby.
Shelby.
You're going last.
I'm like every time I keep trying to think of, this is probably gonna happen next. I am so off. Like I have no clue what's gonna happen ever, and I'm always wrong or disappointed, and my heart is always broken. The only thing
hard to beat an anime.
I felt that.
The only thing I have to say is if they mess with my boy Levi, I will riot.
I know that's right.
I will absolutely. I'm out. I can't handle this. No, that is the only thing I want. Is don't hurt my boy.
Okay, all right, that's fair enough. So, what your prediction is? Levi's gonna be. That's your one prediction.
I need some more water.
I know. I was like, woo.
I'm getting anxiety. I'm starting to get hot. I'm sweating. I'm getting anxiety now. Oh
no.
Go ahead, Taryn.
I'm getting the end of the Lord of the Flies kind of vibe. That somebody else, some other entity will show up, maybe from a different part of the world. I just have a feeling that their environment is not as
the sea, perhaps?
As it appears to be. I'm not sure. Maybe from across the sea, but that somebody's gonna show up like a Lord of the Flies when they arrived on that plane and saw these naked kids running around killing each other. Like, what the hell are you people doing? Then it'll be something like that. Like, what is going on here? So.
Okay. Sierra.
So you want a prediction on like what? Because I don't.
Give me a prediction on what you don't know. Something that we would be familiar with, but that you don't know for certain is a thing. If that's possible.
I don't think that's possible.
I got a prediction.
Let Danielle go first.
No, you gotta get your prediction, girl.
Okay, with being spoiler free, I really do think that Aaron has an underlying plan, and I think that he will succeed. And that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay,
outside of
from the end of season 3.
I said that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, all right. I think I got you though. I think I got because when he was standing out with that water, in my opinion, in the anime, when he was standing out with that water and he was talking about the sea and he was talking about going across and killing the enemies and being free, I saw something changed in him in that moment. I feel like Aaron became. I feel like he's grown a lot in the anime, but something specifically changed in him in that moment where I think the plan the goal you're talking about, I think the plan started right there. I think at that very moment was when he was like, okay, now that I know what this is about, this is what I'm going to do. And I think that's kind of where that thought process started. So hopefully you're right. I would like to see how that turns out, but I definitely get that overall idea of what you're saying. Like he definitely got something going on up here. At the very least, I know he got something going on up here. I'd like to know what that is. Danielle? Uh-oh. She look like she knows something. That's that. I know something you don't know. I see that face. I see that face a lot when I see Danielle. I know that's that. I know something you don't know. Talk to me.
Here's my prediction.
Okay.
Attack on Titan is going to give us the ending that we wish we had for Game of Thrones. We've talked a lot about Walking Dead being, the tie-ins, but I also see Game of Thrones.
Okay.
The reason being is when Game of Thrones, if you're a Game of Thrones watcher, reader, you start off with people very spread out. You got your people in the north, you got your people in the sand, you got your people in Essos and all these different places. And by the last season, everybody that was so far out in all these storylines merge. That is the same thing with Attack on Titan. You start off with Eren and Shiganshina with his homies, and then you start to get these other storylines and these other people, and Ymir comes in, and Bertolt and Reiner, and wait, there's people over the sea. So by the end of the season, of these storylines start to converge onto each other. And I feel like with Game of Thrones, and if people liked it, they liked it. They didn't stick the landing. Attack on Titan will give you the Game of Thrones ending of just bringing all these storylines together, and it's just crazy.
Okay.
Which also means everyone will die. I don't know that. That's not me saying, and I'm reading something. My prediction is you thought George R.R. Martin was bad?
Okay.
This is going to be Rogue One all over again.
No, that's
everyone.
I kind of thought that too. I thought that at some point it was going to become, not so much for the same reasons you did. I thought that because of the Titans that someone was going to come up with a way to either rid the world of most Titans, but it would kill most people as well. And I thought that would be how it ends anyway. So I'm kind of with you on that. I think somebody going to mess up trying to kill the Titans and end up killing everybody.
The Titan shifters we already know. We know about the lifespan thing in the seasons.
Yeah.
So Titans that are the shifters, so like female Titan, colossal Titan, they have a 13-year, I believe it's 13-year time span. From the time that they are a Titan, from the time that they are not. So where we are now, and this is not a spoiler, they do talk about it in the first episode of season 4. There's a time skip. So anyone, and this will help for anybody who watches, when you watch that episode, you are coming on after the sea 4 years after they've gotten to the sea. 4 years have now passed. So you have a time skip.
Okay.
And you're on the other side of the sea. A lot of people have a lot of complaints that, you don't see in the first episode any of the new people. We have just been introduced to a whole nother, at the end of season 3, a whole new world that we didn't know about for 3 seasons.
A whole new 2 races of people that you
didn't know of. Again, photographs. They didn't have photography. So they're going to have to branch off and kind of let you know, hey, all the stuff you didn't know, let us tell you about this. So do not be discouraged if you don't see your Levi's, your Mikasas, your Aarons in the very beginning, because they have to clue you in on this world. And when you're reading it in the manga, it was a little confusing because I was like, what? Huh? What?
Yeah, because it just happens and they're like,
and they don't really say 4 years later. You just like reading it. So it's been 4 years. My prediction is gonna be better than Game of Thrones ending, and everybody's gonna die.
Okay.
And I will be.
We already know the ending's gonna make everybody hurt.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. We have given you predictions. We have talked about the story. We've given away a pop and a manga, a couple of action figures. We've eaten with you all. It's time for us to retire. On the next episode of Anime a la carte, we are going to be reviewing Hunter x Hunter. I am ridiculously excited about it.
Hunter, y'all.
Yeah, beloved anime, I think, throughout the time of all kinds of media. So we're definitely...
That's not finished yet.
That
means everybody got time to catch up.
Exactly. And plus, there's a lot of things that I didn't realize about the manga. So there's a lot of story that I missed. So I'm really looking forward to this.
It'll be fun, as always.
So you guys tune in. Make sure you get a chance to check us out. And don't forget to participate. Let us know what your favorite Attack on Titan scene is, and we can hook you up with a pop, a t-shirt, and a Attack on Titan #1 manga. Until then, let us know if there's any snacks or anything that you would like to see us try on the show, or if there's anything you'd like to recommend. We always love to take recommendations, so give us some. And thank you for joining us. And ladies, thank you so much for being here with me and doing this with me. I had such a great time, and my belly's all full. I feel good now. I'm excited to go get started on Hunter x Hunter, but also to delve into a little bit more of Attack on Titan. So again, thank you very much for joining me, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.